Jai Sri Krishna. Today's session marks the beginning of seventh chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Today we will be reciting verses 1 to 12. And these verses answer to very profound question. Who is God? Who is the supreme entity? Who is the supreme power? Who is the supreme essence? This curiosity is unique to human beings because of elevated consciousness. Animals will never ask these questions because of their lower level of consciousness. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna represents the same supreme power, the same supreme entity. So when it is talked about Lord Krishna, it is about supreme entity. So let's recite the verses first, then we will look into the meaning and significance of these. Om Sri Bhagwan Vach मय्यासक्तमनाः पार्थ योगं युञ्जन्मदाश्रयः असंशयं समग्रं मां यथा ज्ञास्यसि तच्छृणु ज्ञानं तेऽहं सविज्ञानम् इदं वक्ष्याम्यशेषतः यज्ज्ञात्वा नेह भूयोऽन्यत् ज्ञातव्यम् अवशिष्यते मनुष्याणां सहस्रेषु कश्चिद् यतति सिद्धये यततामपि सिद्धानां कश्चिन्मां वेत्ति तत्त्वतः भूमिरापो नलो वायुः खं मनो बुद्धिरेव च अहंकार इतीयं मे भिन्ना प्रकृतिरष्टधा अपरेयमितस्त्वन्यां प्रकृतिं विद्धि मे पराम् जीवभूतां महाबाहो ययेदं धार्यते जगत् एतद्योनीनि भूतानि सर्वाणीत्युपधारय अहं कृत्स्नस्य जगतः प्रभवः प्रलयस्तथा मत्तः परतरं नान्यत् किञ्चिदस्ति धनञ्जय मयि सर्वमिदं प्रोतं सूत्रे मणिगणा इव रसोऽहमप्सु कौन्तेय प्रभास्मि शशिसूर्ययोः प्रणवः सर्ववेदेषु शब्दः खे पौरुषं नृषु पुण्यो गन्धः पृथिव्यां च तेजश्चास्मि विभावसौ जीवनं सर्वभूतेषु तपश्चास्मि तपस्विषु बीजं मां सर्वभूतानां विद्धि पार्थ सनातनम् बुद्धिर्बुद्धिमतामस्मि तेजस्तेजस्विनामहम् बलं बलवतां चाहं कामरागविवर्जितं धर्माविरुद्धो भूतेषु कामोऽस्मि भरतर्षभ ये चैव सात्विका भावा राजसास्तामसाश्च ये मत एवेति तान् विद्धि न त्वहं तेषु ते मयि. Jai Sri Krishna. So these verses answer very profound question. Who is the God? Who is the supreme entity? In the first verse, Lord Krishna talks about the prerequisite to understand this knowledge. And the prerequisite is our mind should be attached to Him through practice of yoga. One should have faith in Him, and then whatever is told by Him will be well understood. He says, basically, he tells the importance of knowing this fact. is so important that after knowing this, there is nothing to be known. There is nothing to be known. It means that this knowledge is of very, very high importance. Because as you know, as I told you in the beginning of the session, this question will be from human being only. Who is God? Who is the supreme power? So, as a human being, this knowledge is of utmost importance for us. Utmost importance. That's why Lord Krishna says, after knowing this, nothing remains to be known. So basically, his indication is that this knowledge is very, very important for us as a human being. He says, among countless beings, only a few strive to understand him, and fewer succeed to understand him in reality. While this question characterizes us, differentiates us from other living beings, very few of us understand this in reality. Lord Krishna explains that he is the source of two types of energies: material energy, that is the first category, and a spiritual energy, that is Atma. So, what consists of material energy? It is earth, water, air, fire, space, mind, intelligence, and ego. Now, one may argue how mind, intelligence, and ego is of material nature. Mind and intelligence undoubtedly are material resources. Someone's mind is very sharp, very logical. Someone's mind is dull. It is all because of what is there inside the head. And that is the reason Einstein's brain was studied by scientists. Because it's a material property. Intelligence is purely a material property, material attribute. That's why Lord Krishna put mind and intelligence in the material category. Now coming to ego. Ego arises because of the physical limitations that we have. Ego is associated with our body, with our mind, with the limitation that is posed by the body and mind. That's why ego has also been put into the category 1, that is material category. So ego is purely because of the physical limitation, because of the physical properties. That's why we say I, you, they. So earth, water, fire, air, space, mind, intelligence, and ego fall in the material category which is of lower nature. And there is another category which consists of something which is of far superior nature, which is of far superior attribute, and that is Atma. It is boundless. It transcends physical limitations. And Atma is a spiritual. A spirituality is all about Atma. It can be translated to soul in English to some extent. But we have to understand that Atma is limitless. It transcends physical limitation. Hence, there is nothing like my Atma, your Atma. Atma is universal. Atma is something that holds the entire living being as living being. Our intelligence is because of Atma. Our senses are because of Atma. Otherwise, the organs will be there, eyes will be there, but cannot see. This body will be there, but it cannot touch and feel something. So that source is Atma. So Lord Krishna says, all the living beings are made of these two energies. And he is the creator as well as destroyer. Destroyer of anything, living, non-living. He creates out of these energies and then destroys. He is both creator and destroyer. And he says, while different things, different living beings may appear discrete, but they are all connected to each other. So this is something like, even our science says conservation of material and energy. Okay, only form changes. Okay, so the underlying wisdom is the same. We may look discrete, but we are all interconnected. And the metaphor that has been used is like a garland. The thread in the garland connects different pearls and precious stones which is there in it. Similarly, all living beings, non-living beings are connected to each other. It's a single source containing different types of energy, material energy, spiritual energy. Then he gives attribute of the supreme entity. So Lord Krishna says, he is the essence within all. He is the taste of water. He is the taste of water. He is the light of sun and moon. He is the sacred syllable Om. So what does it mean? He is the wisdom which is there in Vedas. He is the sound in the universe. So the underlying information is he is the one who is holding the entire universe, the length of which is measured in billions of light years. It's not easy to understand someone who is holding the entire universe. Then he says, he is the strength of a human being, or rather living being. He is the virtuous ambition of the ambitious. He is the source of life, intelligence, and a strength, but a strength without desire. So, what does it signify? If you have to be near Krishna, you have to have attributes, you have to have qualities which are dear to him. Basically, it is beneficial for our life. So have a strength, have capability, but keep the desires away, because desire is the source of your miseries. So this is the message from Lord Krishna. And then he says, he is the source of three modes of nature. That is the mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of inertia. Satogun, Rajogun, and Tamogun, as it is called in Sanskrit. And our nature, an individual's nature, is combination of these three modes of nature in different proportions. Mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of inertia. The mode of inertia being the lowest, and mode of goodness being the highest nature. So almost all of us had some goodness, some inertia, laziness and all, and different levels of passion. So he's the source of these modes of nature. But yet he remains untouched by them. He is beyond sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic nature. So the answer which has been given through these verses are not easy to understand. It's not easy to understand someone like Supreme Entity who is holding the entire universe, who is the creator, who is the destroyer. But through these verses, Lord Krishna has tried to explain, has tried to clarify the concept of the Supreme Entity. In the next session, we will discuss how the modes of nature, that is Satogun, Tamogun, and Rajogun, create illusion leading to ignorance and suffering. So these three natures, these three modes of nature, mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of inertia, creates some or other kind of illusion. And that becomes the source of suffering. So spirituality is going beyond these three modes of nature. Going beyond these three modes of nature. So in the upcoming session, we will see why is it required and how we can achieve it and what will be the benefits that we will be exploiting through our tryst towards a spiritual excellence. So keep watching. Thank you very much.